Hey all, and welcome back for another HellfireComms TV Comm. Wait a minute, there's a word missing there. That's right, this isn't actually something that's been commissioned by a patron. This is something that Volk and I just wanted to do for y'all. Basically to say thanks for the support on Patreon and whatnot, but you don't actually have to pay for it. It's just a freebie bone we throw you every so often, and bone indeed, for it is a very spooky collection of videos we have for you today. For we shall be covering the entirety of Castlevania Season 1.
Oh, this is going to be a good one. I haven't actually watched this in a while, so a lot of this might still end up being rather fresh for me, but I get the feeling I'll probably start remembering bits as we go through. But very excited to watch this again. I've been looking for a decent excuse.
Indeed, indeed. Alright guys, this is how it works. Obviously we can't provide the media for you, so get it yourself and sync it up with our commentary using the instructions in the video description below. We'll count you down into episode 1, and when we say play, hit play or just follow the instructions. When that's done and we tell you to close the video, close it, load up episode 2, we'll count you down into that once we're done discussing the first one, and so on and so forth for episodes 3 and 4. So are you ready, Volk, for episode 1 of Netflix's Castlevania?
I am ready to ponder what is a man and many other references.
Okie dokie, here we go in 3, 2, 1. Okie dokie, Season 1 of Castlevania. The actual show is based on the NES game Castlevania 3 Dracula's Curse by Konami, and it follows Trevor Belmont, who defends the nation of Wallachia from Dracula and his minions. Richie isn't the only one who can read verbatim off Wikipedia. I will be the Richie of this commentary. The series was originally planned as a film, developed by producer Kevin Cold and his company Project 51, and subsequently by Frederator Studios, when Cold joined the same company in 2005. Cold had a contract for a script with writer Warren Ellis in 2007. The project entered development hell, which is basically bounced all over the place and didn't really make any headway, until about 2015, where it finally found a global home on Netflix. Animation studio Powerhouse Animation Studios joined the team and production commenced. Its art style is heavily influenced by that of Japanese anime and Ayami Kojima's artwork in Castlevania Symphony of the Night, with the production team including staff members who worked in the Japanese anime industry. The series premiered on the Netflix streaming service of July 7, 2017, and was renewed for an expanded second season of 8 episodes on the very same day. The second season is expected to broadcast on October 26, 2018, so you'll probably have seen it by the time this goes up on HFC on YouTube, but whatever. According to lead voice actor Richard Armitage, who actually plays Trevor Belmont, a third season has been greenlit by Netflix. Are you surprised by how well this did, Volk?
Not at all. The only thing I am surprised by is that they split this off into 4 episodes, where it probably would have served just as well just being a feature-length movie of some description, to be honest with you.
It all follows like one flowing storyline, so yeah, I can sort of understand why you'd say that, but I think putting it on Netflix was a wise move.
Oh, absolutely. It's a good way to get the platform notice and actually get a purpose-made anime for it, and Castlevania was a solid choice.
Let's go down the cast list here. Graham McTavish plays Vlad Dracula Tepes. And this woman here is Emily Swallow, who is Lisa Tepes, Dracula's beloved wife who blank. The rest of that is spoilers, but given what we know of Castlevania, or just Dracula stories in general, she's probably not going to have a happy ending.
No, I've played enough Symphony of the Night to know where this is going, although I do like what they've done with the first episode, which essentially makes it all about Dracula and how everything went to shit, essentially, and really gives some background as to what Dracula's character is like. He's not just some blood-sucking monster, he has this whole other bit of affinity to him, which Lisa helps pull out and allows him to become more tolerant of people and more accepting of them. It's something that I believe Alucard said rather well. Do not hold hatred for humans, for if you cannot like them, at least learn to do them no harm.
It's weird, I swear the Dracula design in Smash Bros. Ultimate, where Simon Belmont and also Richter Belmont are playable characters now in Smash Ultimate, I swear they took a little bit of the Netflix design for Dracula, but that's probably like confirmation bias or whatever the term is.
I'm not sure. I think he may be onto something with that one, because there are some obvious Netflix inspirations as far as what Dracula's design looks like in Ultimate, but maybe it's just the whole thing is that it better suits the scale, perhaps? I don't know the exact answer or whether or not it really is inspired from the Netflix one, but I mean, it's a solid choice. Netflix Drac looks pretty damn great.
Behold, I have science. Bitches love science.
And this is where the magic happens, and also where I fuck the ladies.
Oh yeah, I use this telescope to check out the pussy.
Just like all the showers are mine to ogle.
Is there such a room in, like, Symphony of the Night and so on?
Well, there is the Alchemy Laboratory, which I believe is what this place actually is. It's the very... I wouldn't say it's like the first level, because obviously, like, the run-up through Dracula's castle is obviously the first level, but the first, like, actual level with the first boss and everything is the Alchemy Laboratory, so it's oddly fitting. It's sort of a mixture between that and perhaps the Long Library in a way.
Now, I hasten to say, in my embarrassment and shame, I have never actually played and completed Symphony of the Night, but I have completed Castlevania 3, and I would say it's by far my favourite of the classic Castlevanias, although level 9 can just go to fucking hell in a handbasket.
Yes, I have heard the horror stories for that particular person, but Castlevania 3 was never a game I actually really played. I mean, I started with Symphony of the Night and pretty much went onwards from that, but I never really thought to go back.
Any reason why it kicked your ass, difficulty-wise? You didn't like the tone? You just didn't like playing as good old sweet Trevor?
I don't know, I think it's more just a case I never got around to it. It's not so much that I don't want to play it, it's just finding the time to play it.
Alright, we have the bishop here, a clergyman who orders the burning of Lisa Tepes for witchcraft. And let's see, what has Matthew Frewer been in? Is there anything I would recognise? Here, he was in Honey, I Shrunk the Kids. He was in Disney's Hercules. Who the fuck did he play in Disney's Hercules?
A very odd itinerary. Oh yes, I was in Honey, I Shrunk the Kids, I played in Hercules, and I was responsible for burning a perfectly good human being at the stakes and incurred the wrath of Dracula.
I can't find it here, so why don't you comment on the show just while I look it up?
Alrighty, so... obviously, this is the part where Lisa gets burned and starts the whole gears of Dracula's madness into motion. I'm not sure whether you qualify it as madness, because Dracula's always held a certain amount of disdain for people, but obviously this isn't going to help matters any, especially when he was just beginning to warm up, no pun intended, to the idea of human existence.
Well, I mean, in many ways, Lisa was his humanity, so... this is tragic in more ways than one. Also, I swear, even with subtitles, I watched this on Netflix proper to begin with, the bishop is really fucking hard to hear, because he, like, borderline whispers.
Yeah, he does have that whole quiet and menacing thing going on for him, but unfortunately, nobody told him to speak the fuck up.
Okay, Matthew Frewer was Panic in Disney's Hercules.
I barely remember that person, I have to be honest.
Well, I love this opening.
Title sequence. Oh, it does look good. I love the black and white. It's very Sin City / comic book.
Yeah, with, like, juxtaposed against the red and whatnot. I would say probably the only, like, minus point of the series is, like, there's no recognisable Castlevania tunes, at least to my recollection. And I think it was either Helldragon or someone Helldragon follows put Bloody Tears, I forget which one, it may have been the Castlevania Judgment version, against this, and it synced up perfectly.
Well, you can shit on Judgment all you want, but that game had a cracking soundtrack. And as much as the character designs are a bit iffy, Aeon was a really nicely designed character. I do generally love that guy's look and how he presents himself. Although, there isn't any much unique music in here as far as, like, music obviously taken from the games. They do a great job with the musical score here in terms of making it its own.
It's got the right amount of dread, it's got the right amount of peppiness for the action where need be, but Yeah, I think we're going to have to catch up with Dracula now, who apparently has been just wandering the earth trying to find the best of humanity. Unfortunately, it seems he will be coming home to the worst of humanity.
It's a great way to introduce Drac's character, as I said before, because you look at Dracula and you just think, oh, he's a big scary vampire, you should kill him. And all that malarkey. But really, with this, you really start to feel sorry for him. You kind of understand where his motives are, even if they are taken to perhaps an extreme.
Oh, this is interesting. I can't believe I forgot this. Graham McTavish, who plays Dracula, also played Dwalin in the Battle of the Five Armies.
Ah, that's kind of cool.
The Hobbit films, essentially.
I love the fact that Dracula is rocking similar facial hair to what I am right now. I'm kind of going with the Gentaro look from Kamen Rider build, so it's almost like Dracula, except the beard's not nearly as pointy. It's like, some shit's gone down here, miss. Tell me what's going on. Oh, you wouldn't believe it, love.
Oh, you never want to hear a guy with sharp teeth say that. You know, it doesn't matter whether it's him or Liam Neeson, consequences will never be the same.
Oh, hell no.
I don't have the voice credits for Old Woman Bringing Flowers. I don't think the credits are that specific.
Maybe not, although you never know, we might see it in the credits.
I love how his, collar is shielding his eyes. That's a nice touch.
It is shielding his unyielding rage at the moment. Understandably so.
Cry bloody tears, fuck yeah.
Da, 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 da. It would have been cool if a little bit of a slow and solemn Bloody Tears started playing at that moment. That would have been kind of neat, although maybe the moment might have been a bit lost if they had gone with that option.
I think what they're trying to do is, take the story, more mainstream, at least to begin with, and then maybe in, Season 2 they'll introduce more stuff akin to, stuff that game fans would recognise.
I would love for there to mix up some of the music from current Castlevania games or past Castlevania games into it, so maybe they'll get more confident in that regard. So I'm looking forward to what Season 2 has to offer now that it can fully take the reins off and really go ham on the Castlevania license.
Well, I'm on fire now. Didn't actually intend for this to happen. Oh, Jesus, help!
Have you ever been so angry that you literally combusted into flames?
Well, there was earlier when I came to find that I had not asked Flame to get us the English dub of Castlevania, and it was in fact the Japanese dub, and I didn't check it for a month, and then it came to about an hour before recording. I was like, oh no, we can't record, and then Flame sent it us within 5 minutes. I was like, okay, we can record.
You give up too easily, that's your problem.
I'm sorry, anxiety is a bitch.
Yeah, that's fair enough, I understand.
So yeah, I don't think the people of Wallachia are gonna be, let's say, undisturbed for too long, because you shouldn't ought have killed Drax's wife, and I forgot how, bloody this series actually starts. It does not hold back when it comes to, gore and whatnot, and you've not even, seen the worst of it yet, guys.
Oh, no you haven't. If I'm remembering correctly, there's a lot more to come. Can we invent the megaphone and help him out a bit here?
Yeah. Speaking to your tiny little hat, it'll act as a projector.
It make a hole in the hat and just goes, hello!
So this is just an event for people to come out and watch a witch burning and whatnot. It's kind of like Frollo made a day of it in Hunchback of Notre Dame. It's here we go, if you look off to the side, that Disney obviously didn't show because they didn't want to make Frollo sympathetic. There were picnic trays and they had sandwiches and juice and whatnot.
Well, at least he well caters these events. With these, here, obviously there's been no attempt at making a buffet. There have been no attempts for someone to cook hors d'oeuvres or tiny nibbles. They were just asking for this to happen, really.
That's part of the reason Drax's so mad, really. No hospitality, really? You bring out the most limp-wristed cross you have? Bitch, that doesn't even have platinum and pearls on it. I'm not scared of that.
at least grip it with a little bit more vigor. You know, put your back into it. Really show him, this is a cross, and you will be scared by it, and shake it.
Not even throwing it at him with his side B or anything.
It just flicks it at him, like you do with a ruler at school, just like, doing.
Actually, what is Simon's move list? I gotta look this up.
If I remember correctly, he has like a blade dash, an uppercuts, an axe, the holy water, and obviously the whip. I'm not sure if he has daggers, but those are the ones that I remember, and the rest is just your standard punches and kicks and what have you.
He does actually have a knife, it's part of his uppercut.
Oh, of course, it's the blade part of it, of course, how could I forget?
I think that's a fair trade. You know, you kill my wife, I'm gonna kill all of you, all of your wives, all of your husbands. You have 1 year to get the fuck out, otherwise I'm coming back, and the full force of me pulling my dick out of my trousers will fall upon your land like a fucking Egyptian blight.
I'm not quite sure if that's how he would put it, but if Dracula were alive today, maybe. He'd go, hashtag, you're fucked.
Look, alright, I was improvising. You know, you have to during these commentaries. This is very, like, biblical, though, like the sky raining fire.
Oh, he is still absolutely pissed. That is a man that can hold a grudge to the end of time right there.
They fucking burnt his wife at the cross while he was off travelling.
Oh no, but it takes a special kind of talent to be able to hold a grudge that fierce.
Yeah, I suppose. Anger is limiting and tiring.
Anger, he puts down to a freaking art form. No, Daddy, I cannot let you do that.
No, I cannot allow you to take revenge from Mum. Without me, old son, you just know how to say the words to make your father proud. Let's go a-slaughtering. Alas, no, that's not what's happening here. This angelic-looking Sephiroth character does not want any part in the needless slaughter of innocents.
No, Alucard is a very well-adjusted individual. Very well-spoken, very gentlemanly.
Yes, it's no secret that Alucard is obviously Dracula backwards, and he's Dracula and Lisa's son, essentially. Let's see, James Callis plays Adrian Tepes / Alucard, the Dampier son of Dracula and Lisa Tepes, who seeks to protect humanity from his father. James Callis was also in Bridget Jones's Diary as Tom.
And we talked over it for the most part, but that speech that Dracula delivered towards Alucard is like one of the most badass speeches I think I've heard in a long time.
Oh yeah, for sure, mate, for sure.
It's like, when did humans had every chance to decide to stop behaving like animals? Like, you can really feel the conviction when he says that as well. It's fucking fantastic.
Well, he put aside, like, all his bias and, like, loved Lisa unconditionally despite the fact she was human, and she showed him the best of humanity, and then the wool was kind of, like, pulled from his eyes and he saw what they, to him anyway, really were.
I absolutely agree. And I can't get over this because I keep thinking back to how familiar are you with the Castlevania Lords of Shadow series?
Not very. You might have to school me a little.
Alright, so Lords of Shadow takes place from the perception of Gabriel Belmont, who does the whole going to Castlevania, slay, goes to fight Dracula, but then he becomes Dracula himself, but still maintains like the fact that he is Gabriel Belmont, he just has the super Dracula powers. And at some point, Trevor Belmont goes to fight Dracula, who is Gabriel Belmont. And obviously, Gabriel doesn't know a thing about Trevor. He just thinks, oh, you're a vampire slayer, you've got the vampire killer, let's have at it then. And he kills him, and then eventually learns that Trevor is actually Gabriel's son. And in his sorrow, attempts to bring him back to life. And then in Lords of Shadow 2, Trevor comes back as Alucard.
Ah, I see.
So, Trevor Belmont, in one part of the media at the very least, ends up becoming Alucard. Yet here, he's the Trevor Belmont you know and love. He is the man who just does not care at all.
No. More of which in episode 2, by the way. But, yeah, the Wallachians haven't exactly heeded Dracula's warning, and the Archbishop, the really deflated-looking corpse on the chair over there, even held a celebration in defiance of the Dark Lord. So, yeah, now you've really done fucked up.
You know, this is making me a lot more thankful that the rain in Britain isn't nearly this bad.
Jesus, yeah. We might get, like, flash floods every so often, but they're like bloody streams.
No, no bloody streams, or bloody storms for that matter.
There you go. Oh, this is so fucking cool. Is there anything more metal than a fire tornado, or a face coming out of the sky?
I honestly don't think there is. It's... a flaming tornado is about as badass as it gets.
He's not a fan of God, is Dracula. He basically cursed him to be this thing in the first place.
He may hate God, but he is not adverse to quoting the Bible to put across his points.
Well, Dracula likes him a bit of irony, you know? Alright, send out the harpies.
This is CNN.
Oh god, here comes Castlevania itself, you may as well just roll the credits.
Oh, good old Castlevania. Where's the inverted castle, though? Oh, wait, that's probably not going to come until Season 2, is it?
I've heard tell that Season 2 is apparently taking aspects of the PS2 games.
Oh, so it's going to be taking elements of Lamnan of Innocence and Curse of Darkness?
Yeah, but I've only heard this, like, secondhand from Tanner, who does quick looks with us on the channel. Oh my god, it's happening already. Jesus fucking Christ, there's no JoJo censorship here.
Oh, no. You know, I actually got watching Goblin Slayer not too long ago, and yeah, like, I thought that was pretty gory, but then coming back to this and realizing just how brutal this is, yeah, I reckon as far as gore factor is concerned, this probably wins out.
Mm-hmm. To be fair, the man gave you an entire year to skedoodle, to vamoose. You didn't listen, so now you reap the whirlwind.
I mean, you can't just, like, sit around for years just like, nah, he's probably bluffing.
Truly now, my Dracula's curse has been placed upon the land by Castlevania.
And descending upon this poor town is the dawn of sorrow.
Oh, I lament the innocence of youth.
Oh, we better get the Order of Ecclesia in here and help get this all cleaned up.
Or you will suffer my judgment. For the we!
You know, you're doing very well, but then you turn that whole thing into a portrait of ruin.
Thank you. Awesome.
We're on the same page, you and I.
Indeed, indeed. Right, so Wallachia fucked, but let's go a little bit outside that country's or county's borders to Bombsville, USA.
Or is it Mud End or was that Mud End? I couldn't quite see the sign proper.
It's... well, you'll see.
And there he is, the man, the legend, the one that does not care, not even one bit at any time of day, even if you paid him in dried goat, Trevor Belmont.
He's pretty great. More of Richard Armitage's work in episode 2, but obviously he played Thorin Oakenshield in the Hobbit movies. Pretty great, actually. He's a TV actor. I don't say that to, like, disparage him or his career or anything, but I honestly don't know him from too many movies.
It's actually quite interesting because another thing that I would say this show shares as well as the Lords of Shadow series is that they got a lot of their voice actors from shows like The Hobbit, like Game of Thrones, for instance. And like, they have all these actors that have like a lot of, I guess, fantasy-ish kind of old age shows and Dungeons, Dragons, etc., etc., which I hope really kind of fits the overall tone of the show. And it's kind of nice that, on top of that, the show was actually deliberately made with the dub in mind. So
yeah,
everything is nicely lip-synced, everyone sort of interacts and behaves with each other in a very natural manner for an animated show.
Now, I have been saying, like, Dracula came and killed the people in Wallachia. That's, like, the country. The actual town that he laid waste to was Targa Vista, or Targa Vista. Don't know how to pronounce that just by looking at it. But, yeah, he will want to kill everyone in Wallachia, unless a certain vampire hunter could stop him. Shame there's none in this tavern.
You're saying the name of the town, and all I kept thinking is we may as well rename it Hasta La Vista now.
Oh, jeez.
I love the dude who looks like a cross between Ed and Shaggy.
Oh my god, the ultimate fusion. Who can truly be El Shaggy Edo Blanco?
Uh-oh. Trevor's caught wind of something.
Better fucking vamoose. No, I should have listened to Dracula and gone the hell out of here.
Unfortunately, the life of a Belmont isn't the luxury that you'd expect it to be in this here show. But, as the credits roll by, what did you make of episode 1?
Well, first I'm going to tell you that I'm closing the video down, and I'm loading the number 2, part 2, to get ready. But I feel episode 1 helps set the stage really well. Just in terms of, like, what the plot is, the scale of the plot. Dracula is fucking pissed and wants to kill everyone in Wallachia. We see a little bit of Trevor at the end, sort of trying to lay low, so maybe there's a hint of cowardness to his heroic persona. Also, we see the plebs talking about fucking goats and hitting people with shovels and whatnot. So the tone is firmly established that there's aristocracy with the bishops and whatnot, and then you have, like, the plebs, and in the middle is Trevor, and at the top is Dracula.
Very well said. I couldn't have put it better myself.
But yeah, very good start. Sadly, I would say episode 2 is maybe the weakest of the 4, but even then I still find it quite enjoyable. Just don't expect it to be as hype as the first episode. If you go into it with tempered expectations, you'll be fine, I think.
Yeah, I agree. I think it's pretty much tone setting as far as Trevor Belmont's side of the story is concerned, whereas obviously Dracula is a little bit more interesting. Trevor is more how he's reacting to the world as it currently is, and obviously all the events that have transpired, which may seem a little boring, but at the same time, as you say, if you go into it with tempered expectations, you still get a lot out of it at the end of the day.
Indeed. So, Volk, if you're ready, we'll count on down to episode 2 of Castlevania.
I'm ready to go.
Here we go, in 3, 2, 1. No cold open this time, just straight on into the opening credits.
And that sweet-ass logo.
Oh yeah, that's pretty great, honestly. Do you know any of Warren Ellis's other works? I'm going to look it up now.
I do not, but feel free to enlighten us.
Alright, let's see. He wrote Transmetropolitan, which is a really great comic series.
I am not aware of that one, unfortunately, but I shall take your word as to how incredible it is.
Well, he's worked on several Marvel series like Astonishing X-Men, Thunderbolts. He did the Extremist story arc of Iron Man. Let's see. Ellis wrote the video games Hostile Wars in 2001, Cold Winter in 2005, and Dead Space in 2008, which I believe at the time of upload we'll have recently done a quick look for.
Ooh, very nice.
But Transmetropolitan is fucking great. I would say, yeah, he was the perfect writer for this.
Trevor is just completely off his ass.
He's fucking sass, mate. I love it. I like heroes that have a bit of grunge to them. Like, I like your perfect heroes, I like your imperfect heroes, I like your heroes who sometimes don't give a shit and become heroes reluctantly. I like heroes that jump at the call. But for this story, I don't think, like, Simon Belmont would have worked.
No, definitely not. I think Simon is perhaps a little too by the books, I would say.
Yeah.
I mean, Trevor's imperfection brings a certain amount of character to the whole thing, where it's pretty much a dude who knows what he's doing, but he's still kind of bored by the whole affair. He's just like, look, I just want to sit down at the pub and have a drink, and you're kind of interrupting and ruining my flow here. So, you can either make with the booze, or I'll chop off your heads. What's it gonna be?
And just in case you're wondering why the plebs aren't sucking up to him, yeah, they hate the Belmonts. The Belmonts were excommunicated from the church and whatnot, and now they're basically seen as pariahs.
Yes, it is very unfortunate. It seems they've forgotten the Belmont's heroic acts against Dracula at least once or twice over. I'm pretty sure Simon was the second Belmont, and... who was the first Belmont again? I can't actually remember.
I'm looking it up. Castlevania timeline. Yeah, no, I stole it off the real Trevor Belmont, actually. Oh my god, imagine if they pulled a Metal Gear Solid 2 with this. How pissed would people have been?
It's just like Trevor just suddenly starts going, I need scissors, 61.
Okay, the very first game in the Castlevania timeline is Lament of Innocence starring Leon Belmont.
Leon Belmont. I think that was the one I was thinking of. Sounds about right.
Let's see. Oh, interesting. Huh. Yeah, Simon is way after Trevor in terms of, like, the timeline and whatnot.
Oh, so they've gone backwards a bit then from when they were doing Castlevania 2 to Castlevania 3. Like, maybe it was a separate storyline / timeline.
Yeah, like, maybe should they ever do a sequel series after, like, Season 3 and whatnot, maybe Simon will be the star in that. Maybe he'll be lawful good, as opposed to the chaotic good we have in Trevor.
I wouldn't mind seeing a co-op, so to speak. So maybe get like the whole DS crew in there and get Soma and I can't remember who the two were called in Portrait of Ruin and Shinoa?
You're asking me, the Wikipedia man, for this?
Well, if you want to look it up, you can do. I think it's like Jonathan and something else.
Alright, let me look up Shinoa. Which, that's one of the DS games, right?
Yeah, Shinoa was Order of Ecclesia, Soma was Aria / Dawn of Sorrow, and as I said, the duo in Portrait of Ruin, I think it's like Jonathan and someone else. I can't remember the girl's name.
Ah, well, it doesn't really matter. We just gotta focus on Trevor going arse over tits, being punched by the local pub drunk, I guess?
Yeah, he's not the best in a barroom fight. I mean, he can take his licks, but he isn't exactly in a condition to dish them out.
Dude, oh god.
Look, enough of the gonads already. You made your point. Jeez.
You hit me in the fucking Belmont family jewels, mate. Oh, jeez. There we go. Finally someone beat El Shaggy Edo Blanco.
There we go. He's found his mojo. He's fighting back. Well, kind of.
That is the legendary vampire killer whip, by the way, and if you want the origins of that, go look it up. It's kind of silly and awesome at the same time.
I love how it was trying to deliver a badass speech. It's like, I'm Trevor motherfucking Belmont, and then just gets completely tripped up and just hammered with a chair.
Yeah, that'll happen. You stew around beer in your inside and you start brawling.
It's just the natural, if delayed reaction to a swift kick to the bollocks. Screw you guys! I'm going home
to drink again. I fucking love Richard Armitage as Trevor. I think he was the perfect amount of, like, gruff and heroic.
And, sleeping out in the open. I'm not sure if this is entirely safe in these dire times that have currently before the Wallachia.
I don't know. He is a seasoned vampire killer, even if he has fallen on hard times. We see Trevor at his lowest here. By the end of things, I think he'll, as you have said, gotten his groove back. Is that the city of Trollberg over there? Is it a Netflix crossover with Hilda that I finished the other day and also got confirmed for a second season? Hell yes, I'm hyped!
My girlfriend's actually been watching that, and I was quite surprised when you started watching it as well, because I was about to say, my girlfriend's actually been watching this, you might quite like it. But turns out you'd already gotten halfway through the series by then.
Oh my god, Jesus! Yeah, this series does not shy away from killing children.
So did Dracula just do the Thanos thing, but obviously a lot more graphical?
Yeah.
It's just like, I'm gonna snap my fingers and then kill half the populace.
My beautiful Lisa, she taught me arts and crafts, and now I will paint the land red with your intestines. I love his sense
Poor
of humor.
man just wants a breakfast. Come on. Somebody give this guy some bacon and some hash browns.
Yeah, a guy can't start killing vampires on an empty stomach, you know?
Well, not just an empty stomach. You need to be full. You need to be greased up and ready to go with that bacon and them eggs and them beans. There's nothing that can beat it.
Indeed. The actual storyline of Castlevania 3, by the way, is the year is 1476 and Count Dracula has begun ravaging Europe with an army of monsters. His sole purpose is to exterminate mankind. The Belmont clan of vampire hunters, once exiled from Wallachia, is beseeched by the church for help, as their own armies have met with defeat. The people feared the Belmonts, quotation marks, superhuman close quotation marks power and drove them out of the land, but with Dracula about to swallow Europe in darkness, they are left with no choice but to call Trevor Belmont the current wielder of the vampire killer. One character who appears in Castlevania 3 does not actually appear here. That is the character of Grant Dynasty, who is a carefree rebel and thief from the town of Wallachia. He has been plotting to overthrow Count Dracula, but he and his comrades were no match for the army. So I guess they deemed Grant nasty and superfluous.
Well, you never know, we may see Grant in Season 2. I'm not sure if he was teased at all in the second season trailer. I don't remember him being so, but considering it's still taking place in Castlevania 3, I would like to see maybe a snippet of Grant, even if it's just for like an episode or two.
Yeah, just like one episode focusing around like him doing cool shit with Trevor, that'll be enough for me. Because I think we have a good enough duo already with Trevor. Another character we'll be seeing soon, and obviously Alucard. Spoilers, guys. This does follow the game to a T.
It's very good like that. Also, I gotta give respect to the guy who's just out on his porch drinking while this whole thing was going down. It's just like, well, this is my life now.
I mean, if this shit was happening on a daily basis, you'd have to get up and have a drink just to get going in the day. Even if you weren't, like, someone who enjoys a tipple, you'd start drinking after that.
Oh no, I would do the same thing after I fucked off like 10 miles away.
Yeah, but...
You know, I gotta get my priorities straight. I can't drink if I'm dead.
Would you be able to make it that far before Dracula's hordes caught up with you? Granted, they only come out during the night for the most part, but still.
Well, I can't give you a definite answer, but I'll definitely tell you I'd try.
Yeah, here lies Volk's remains. He tried, God bless him, he tried.
Haven't seen you before.
Are you local? We only like local types around here.
Actually, the whole what were one coin by me and the whole dry goat bit was something that was in Castlevania 2.
Ah.
If I remember correctly.
Interesting.
I remember reading a thing about it whilst I was watching through the series for the first time, and I believe that is the case.
That is not a game I've actually played, but I have watched like LPs of. Which classic games have you played in the Castlevania series, mate?
I remember playing the first one. And that's about it. Obviously, I don't have experience with the other ones, except for Rondo of Blood and Symphony of the Night, obviously.
Just basically doing reconnaissance and whatnot now.
The townspeople explain their story in their own individual ways. Oh, wow, the beard on that guy, sorry! I got distracted by the mystic facial hair on that dude right there.
It's okay. Just look back to Trevor, and then back to that guy. This is a beard you would want. It tames the vampires. Who needs a whip when you have a beard this lustrous?
Exactly. Trevor wishes he has a beard like that. All he has is, like, 24 lines at best.
I'm looking through, like, the Belmont family, and the only one I can see who has a beard is actually Julius Belmont, who I think is, like, the most recent one in terms of the timeline, but he looks just like Joseph Joestar, and it's really off-putting.
Yes, he really does. He was the Belmont that was in Aria and Dawn of Sorrow, and sort of served as something of a mentor to Soma, who is obviously the main character, and I think he was slated to be the next Dracula, and there's like actually a side story you can do in Dawn of Sorrow, where you play as Julius, Yoko, and Alucard, and essentially the final boss is Soma, who's gone full Drac.
That's pretty cool. I love when, like, stories flip the protagonist on his head, and you, like, have to fight them in the sequel or whatever.
Oh, that's a paddling right there.
Oh, this is a crossing for you, my lad.
Oh, he's waiting for his cue. He's just like, alright, I'm gonna wait for the perfect time, and then I'm gonna saunter in.
No, don't get involved. Just go find some booze and get crunk before nightfall. I keep getting confused between a speaker and a speak-easy.
I thought there were seers at first, like, when I was trying to remember things like that, where it's like, were they seers or were they speakers? But no, they are speakers. Their whole spiel will be explained a little bit later on, but think of them as wandering historians.
Yeah, basically. Let's see, they are a group of nomad scholars who maintain oral stories and traditions, persecuted by the church, who see them as sorcerers and responsible for Dracula's wrath. Trevor Belmont helped them hide before the church's agents came to kill them. I think they're an anime invention, but they were created to tie in another character who was in Castlevania 3, who essentially was them, basically.
I love it. My fucking finger!
Oh, you think the finger's bad, mate? You've not seen anything yet. Trevor is very adept with that whip.
Oh, he really is. He knows how to hit the tip, so to speak. That was a famous Castlevania-based robot chicken gag.
Okay.
Where Simon Belmont goes to fight Dracula, he just keeps whipping him at the tip of his dick. And thus he saved the world!
Yeah, as you do, as you do. Ooh, interesting. So these men of God aren't very pure. Well, I did tell you not to fuck with me, and here comes the whip. In a minute. Just working up for it. Get out of here, you scamp.
He's pulling out the wrestling moves now. He's like, oh, yep, I got you now.
I told you not to... Look, mate, come on. This is just getting embarrassing now. I'm suffering a hangover, and here's your reward.
Oh! I was about to say, who do you think you are, Agent 47?
Yeah, basically. It's always the face or the eyes that creeps me out the most when it comes to body horror, I think.
Yeah, nothing like a slowly drooping eyeball to really get you in the wiggly jigglies.
But it was fun.
And that's all that matters. Well, at least he's thankful. I mean, sure, it's one thing to say that you don't normally condone violence, but at the end of the day, this dude saved your bacon. And that is a feat that can be rewarded with bacon. All good booze.
I agree. Just in case more enemies come down and they have level 2 weapons, really.
We have, like, the Ultra Speaker. He can literally talk his way out of everything. He rolled 18 Charisma and then just put all his points into it from that point on. He is an absolute madman.
Okay, so this is the Elder of the Speakers. This is the town of Gresset, just in case you weren't clear on where we are. The Elder is played by Tony Amendola. I'm just going to look up what he's been in. He was in The Mask of Zorro as Don Luis. Scrolling down. The Land Before Time, Journey of the Brave. He was the narrator in 2016.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, they're still making those films.
Well, not surprising. I mean, it's a top quality series just in general.
Oh, he was Jared Hester in Final Fantasy 15.
Oh, oh yeah, now I remember this guy. Well, of course, it has to be the Final Fantasy 15 part that actually gets me to remember shit.
Yeah, I was hoping upon hopes to find something that would click with you, but anyway, back to the story. The Elder, he doesn't really appreciate the danger that he's in. He wants to stay here no matter what. Or maybe not. Maybe I got that completely wrong. I'm sorry, I was looking at Wikipedia credits. No alcohol here, though, Trevor.
I love it. It's just like, you got something to drink? We have water. I don't know you people. Ah. Belmont knowledge. That's how he knows. The Belmonts and the Speakers do go a ways back. I can't remember exactly how, but they've apparently sort of been... I wouldn't say, like, on collaborative / speaking terms, but of course, Belmonts are sort of like warriors of legend, so I'm sure wherever warriors of legends are involved, the Speakers are there to collect all that sweet lore and pass it along to the masses. And
lo, I was accused of being a sorcerer, and then a dude with a whip came along and went crack-a-pow, and then there was an eye on the wall. That was pretty rad, I'm not gonna lie.
And it was then the townspeople cried, "Save us!" And Trevor whispered, "I don't care."
Where's my fucking breakfast?
I ordered a beer 15 minutes ago. Okay, I'm going Australian now. I'm just going to stop before I completely lose the point.
It's kind of hard to nail Richard's natural accent, honestly. He does it so well.
True, he is a one-of-a-kind individual in that regard.
Then again, he was born with it, so what the fuck am I trying to say? No, he went to Sainsbury's one day and picked it up.
Yeah, but just whilst he was picking up a meat pie, just suddenly, oh, I got this gruff accent now.
Hey, check out this sweet, sweet logo. Yeah, I stole it off the real Trevor. No worries.
You know, the fact that his shirt is almost skin-colored, you could almost mistake that for being a tattoo.
Possibly, yeah, maybe that's what they were going for.
Well, I don't know. The shirt is there, it just happens to be a similar skin tone.
And he pulls down his collar, and there's just the Joestar, like, family birthmark there.
God, it always has to be a JoJo reference with you, doesn't it?
It does, man. I'm enjoying part 5 so far.
Well, how long until we get the Dracula crossover with Dio, then?
We already had it. It was part 3.
Yeah, that's true. Or I mean like a proper Castlevania X JoJo thing. Like, that would kinda be the tits, I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah, basically. Yeah, thanks for listening to us. We realise this episode is very exposition heavy and the commentators have just kind of started talking about their own thing, but yeah, the sleeping soldier or whatever. Underneath here, please, help, wait, yes?
No, they're just here because they want the documentary rights so they could be the next Sir David Attenborough, or I suppose the first David Attenborough, since this would predate it.
Yeah. Let's see. Trevor insists they leave the city for their own safety, but the elder refuses as his grandchild has gone missing after venturing into the catacombs below the city in search of the sleeping soldier, a legendary hero who they believe can defeat Dracula. I wonder who that could be.
Should we say it now, or shall we wait until part 3 to talk about it?
Let's wait until the sleeping soldier actually shows themselves. I'm not saying whether it's a he or it's a she, but if you've been paying attention, it should be fairly obvious.
Or if you just know your shit about Castlevania, you probably just worked it out by now.
Basically. There's like a phrase like that, like, for evil to triumph, good has to just, like, sit and do nothing, or something along those lines.
Alucard actually quoted that exact thing in Symphony of the Night and told Richter that the only thing necessary for evil to triumph is for good men to do nothing.
That's the one. Do you think that was like a callback?
I think maybe a little bit. Obviously, it's changed around a little bit, but who knows? I mean, obviously, that's a fairly old phrase that gets thrown around quite a lot, but maybe it was just a coincidence, or maybe they were harking back to when Alucard told Richter that in Symphony of the Night. I mean, obviously, they threw in the apparent reference to Simon's Quest with the whole dried goat bit, so I wouldn't leave it as an impossibility, I'll just say that much. As Trevor heard all he needed to hear, just like, Drax back? Oh, I'm gonna kill him.
I love killing vampires. Like a vicious fart, born from the Satan taco of hell.
Clapped from the butt cheeks of hell.
Oh, you gotta say clapped. That's too much of a onomatopoeia for me, thank you.
He does, you know. They alluded to as much earlier in this part, in fact.
They were alluding nothing. They showed him getting into a brawl fight with some racists. Well, actually, no, I don't suppose it's racism, it's just prejudice. And this is mine now. Yeah, stay in here, do not... If I come back and I've seen you giving out some fucking Oxfam pamphlets, I'll put your granddaughter back in the catacombs so you can go get her yourself.
Legendary line.
Yeah.
Although you have to admire Trevor's overall resourcefulness during this whole thing. He pretty much came into the town, and then his first thing is to just have a good look around, then just immediately start asking all the town people, like, look, what the fuck is going on here? And he got all the information, he found the speakers, and then obviously got the whole spiel from them. So he pretty much got like an entire understanding of what's going on before he heads in, like, whip blazing.
So... an episode filled with exposition, basically just setting up the next two. That's kind of why I said it's the weakest, but if you're into slower episodes, this one might still tickle your fancy, as it were. For me, I would put it at the bottom of the pile, but I really like the Speaker Elder, the stuff with, you know, the corrupt priests in the alleyway, good little bit of action, Trevor, funny, charismatic as always. But that's episode 2 done, so I'm going to close that down and load up episode 3 while Volk gives us his thoughts on 2.
I like the lore involved and how you get a feel for how Trevor kind of scopes out what's happening. As I mentioned before, I really do admire how collected and resourceful he is, rather than just going straight in. He's just literally gathering information before he then makes his move. And I really got to admire that. I think too few heroes in situations like this do that. And I suppose that's more to the fact that people want action, and you know what? I can entirely understand that, but Episode 2 gives me an appreciation for when they do slow it down a bit and kind of go through, like, the nitty-gritty as to why things are from the hero's perspective, because obviously we've already seen it from Dracula, but we hadn't really seen sort of like Trevor's reaction to what's going on and sort of like what he finds out, and thus concluding to him going out into the catacombs to find the Elder Speaker's granddaughter.
Very much so, mate. So if you're ready, I am set for episode 3. By the way, these have titles, these episodes, even if they're not like shown in the episode itself. They may have popped up, I wasn't paying attention. Episode 1 was called Witch Bowl, episode 2 is Necropolis, episode 3 is Labyrinth, and episode 4 is Monument. So, are you ready for episode 3, Labyrinth, my friend?
I am. Let's hope there's no Panzer.
Oh boy, still need to watch that. It's Halloween soon when we're recording this. Might as well. Alright, here we go, episode 3. In 3, 2, 1. Oh, yes.
It's a good thing they do keep the abridged openings, because we don't have to do the whole, alright, we have to buy a minute of time here before shit actually starts happening.
Indeed, indeed. Yeah,
it's like they were thinking of us.
I like sitting through the opening credits, especially for stuff like Hilda, which is just nice and bouncy and cheerful, you know?
I mean, there is certain degrees of, yes, I mean, for casual watching, but obviously I have to give that appreciation as a commentator just because it saves us a whole bunch of time, and we just get right into it.
Basically. Not bad. The Belmont coffins were a little bit nicer, but, you know, all desecrated since the good times.
And it seems well kept, at least. Obviously, they had someone to help maintain all this. Oh, this is giving me very much the tried and true Castlevania vibe of just wandering around and going through buildings and all this jazz. It just feels right. All I need is a skeleton to start throwing bones at him, and I'll be set.
Just like they walk back and forth, like in the actual game. It's not like...
A shuffle to the left, a shuffle to the right. Throw the bone, and repeat.
There you go. Luckily, an experienced vampire hunter always comes with a knife. Boom.
At least he's considerate and making sure that nobody's here.
Do you know what this reminds me of? That one Batman panel where he's like out in the open in like a council estate or something shouting, "Has anyone seen the Joker?"
I remember that. Oh, that was good. So unlike Batman, but I guess when all other ways fail, you gotta try it.
I gotta say, like, for this season mostly being carried by Trevor, I was very rarely bored, and, like, you can fall into a trap of, like, having a protagonist be unlikable or even boring, but I don't think Trevor ever falls into that trap. Even when he's being sarcastic and a bit of an asshole, he's still likable.
He falls under the category of being a hilarious asshole. Someone that is obviously an asshole, but you don't really hold it against him and you find it oddly endearing. Electricity? How is this possible?
Witchcraft. Or, you know, maybe it was Dracula who did this.
Yeah, like, forget the witches. We should be burning General Electric at the stake. For reasons other than what we're seeing here, obviously.
Ah, Jesus, no! Rude.
It's like, that's my noggin!
Oh boy.
Well, they're not the Skelly Bobs, but, the whole giant thing was a good start. Going into the big guns.
The Cyclops. I forget whether this was actually the first boss of, Dracula's Curse. Let me look this up.
Bloody Cyclops and their lasers. Where did they get these things from?
Well, Dracula, I would imagine. Let's have a look here.
Dracula is selling them awesome prescription contact lenses. It's like, Specsavers won't give you these.
Let's see. The Cyclops. Yeah, it seems like the character was turned to stone by a Cyclops in, Dracula's Curse as well.
Well, remaining constant with the source material. Are you serious? You expect me to fall down from that?
Okay, so the Cyclops is the boss of Stage 3 in Castlevania 3, and he's only vulnerable in the eye, funnily enough, so there you go. Although he has a hammer, I believe.
Oh yes, if it's the Cyclops I'm thinking of, I do remember that.
Yeah, maybe they- oh, this is so fucking cool!
Oh, nice! I mean, you'd be a bit worried at first, considering he was getting thrown around and ragdolled a bit, but no, he's absolutely fine. Trevor does not go down that easy.
It's so lucky that magic has a clause where if you kill the enchanter, the enchantees get turned back to normal.
But that's obviously something they don't normally show. It's like the bowel emptying when you just get killed. Like, they don't show that part on TV.
You kinda got punked by a Cyclops, dearie.
It's just like, how does it feel to get joned? So this is, I can't remember if her name is pronounced Sylph or Sylph or something along those lines.
Cipher Belnades, I believe. Or if you follow the translation of Dracula's Curse, Castlevania 3, Fernando.
So in Japan, you're telling me she's a squid hunting man whore.
I will look it up. I am not making this up.
If you are serious, that might be the most legendary piece of Castlevania trivia I think I've ever heard.
It's fucking Fernando Belnades or something.
It's not that I don't believe you, it's just my brain can't believe it.
Well, I type in Fernando Belnades and Cipher from the Castlevania anime pops up here, so believe what you want to believe.
No, I think that's pretty conclusive right there. Either that or someone is playing a hell of a prank on a very, very, I would say, niche community.
Okay, it wasn't Fernando, it was Fernandez.
Fernandez. Alright, that makes a little bit more sense, but Fernando is more hilarious, and I think that's what I'm going to roll with from now on.
Did you find her? You did! Well, I'm sorry, but we can't pay you. That's fine. I'm not used to being paid anyway.
She does look a little bit like Lisa in a way.
A little bit, yeah. I don't think that's what they were going for, though.
Oh, no. I'd wager it's purely accidental, though it would have made for an interesting angle, wouldn't you agree?
Yes.
Like the whole, you look just like my wife, maybe I can get things back to the way they were.
You are now my wife.
You know, like really, really play into the tragedy side. It would be an interesting alternate take on the story.
Like the sleeping soldier, for instance. You see, Trevor is the caustic, sarcastic one. Cipher is the optimistic, hopeful one. Together they will form a team. Team Castlevania 3, Dracula's Curse.
No, it's not funny. It's never gonna be funny.
Yeah.
Take these clothes, I'm a nap. You know, in one way, the sleeping soldier is probably not as helpful as the Winter Soldier. You know, the sleeping soldier just seems like a guy who just lazes about on the sofa, doesn't really care about what's going on, maybe has like some potato chips on standby just in case he gets a bit peckish. I mean, the Winter Soldier, you kind of know he comes from a hardened environment, and that he's someone that you could probably class as being strong and dependable. The Sleeping Warrior, not so much, but we all know the secret, so it's fine. We know what the Sleeping Warrior is really about, and that between the two, we probably have him.
I was going to let you carry on for a bit and keep calling him a warrior instead of a soldier, but I'm going to cut you off at 2, I think.
Alright, thank you very much. I mean, making an ass out of myself twice is probably enough for one part. I say part because I'm leaving some wriggle room for part 4.
There you go. I feel shit on the back of my neck. Are there flies buzzing about? Oh, seems there are.
Wow, I didn't realize Dracula was making golems made of literal shit nowadays. Oh, wait, it's just you guys.
But I've been excommunicated? I'm not allowed near the church?
Just Father Ted's there as well for some reason.
Oh, I hear you're a vampire killer now, Father.
It's just like some guy that you got his dad sort of in the chair with a spear, just like drink.
Oh, you know that fucking skit where they like think he's reinterpreting Hitler and whatnot and sync hiding through the window? They see him, but he's dressed as Trevor and he's just like whipping an empty window pane.
I do vaguely remember that one. My Father Ted knowledge isn't nearly as vast as the likes of Red Dwarf and Bottom.
That's fine, mate. I love you, Trevor. That guy didn't die, he just lost an eye.
That's all good. I mean, at least he's still alive. I like how he maintains that level of snarkiness even when he's sort of held at knife point.
Mm-hmm. You gotta keep up pretenses, you know, especially when you're appearing before, you know, possibly a corrupt bishop.
I mean, he's got a reputation to rebuild here, and you don't get that by being the quiet guy who just begrudgingly accepts the fact that he's got his knife to his back and he's being led to some bishop for reasons.
Yeah, so Matthew Frewer, the bishop, let's see, he's later named the Bishop of Gresset before being something. Whoops, almost gave the game away there.
You stopped yourself just in time and filled it with many a something, like a true professional. Well, you can tell he's taken up the role of the bishop very seriously. He's already speaking very quietly.
If I could get any quieter than this, Anton would have to up it by 50 decibels.
It's like he's about to fall asleep at any minute with each sentence he gives. He's just like, and so I beseech to God that he must...
Trevor just whips him away and like puts his whip away before he like figures out what happens.
Yeah, he just whips him back away. Ah, who said that?
Oh, I see. Yeah. Are the speakers like an allegory for the Jews or something?
I don't know. The way I see it is, I can't quite tell who brought in the tribe of speakers, whether it was the townspeople or whether it was the bishops. Like, maybe the bishops brought them in and are looking for, like, a cover-up. Maybe they can put it on, like, yes, the Demon's Cave, and it's all the speakers' fault, because they were there at times before that as well. And, you know, start to demonize them. I think they're just trying to set up a scapegoat, if that's the case. I don't remember exactly where that part of the plot falls into place, but it wouldn't surprise me if it's that.
Well, I mean, it can't be their fault. They are pure and men of God. It can't be them not praying enough.
I don't know about that. Just like, you didn't pray hard enough, well, you're fucked then. I'm sorry, mate. You didn't get enough likes on Facebook.
Well, yes, I was going to break out the silk whips, but it seems you already have one.
It's just like, well, you seem like you're already well equipped. Now let me show you to your chamber. I'm so hoping you get. I was so hoping he'd get a paper cut. It's just like, ah, son of a bitch!
Oh shit! I appear to have cut myself.
Oh my god, my hand! It is being possessed.
So the bishop orders Trevor to leave Gresset before sundown as they plan to lead a mob to kill the speakers, offering to spare Trevor and restore his family name in exchange.
Ooh, I'm not gonna lie. It's a fairly decent deal on paper, but at the same time, you gotta remember that 1, this is Trevor Belmont, and 2, he probably does not care, neither about the fact that his reputation is covered in shit, or that you have some things going on that you'd rather be kept on the hush. Oh wow, he finally found his vocal cords. Congratulations, chap.
I'm sorry, but when you disrespect my God, you disrespect me, and I won't allow that in this house of God.
I like how you got quiet there as well, right towards the end. Nice touch.
I love just copying people's inflections sometimes.
It's an easy thing to get into. I find it's, especially if you've like watched the anime or something and you start reading like the manga or whatever, you start to get the hang of what their inflections are. So you start reading it to yourself really dramatically. And then unbeknownst to you, you've actually been reading it out loud the entire time. But thankfully there was no one in the house. So you're probably safe unless someone was recording it through the walls.
And Volk, are you like giving away more than you're meaning to? Have you been practicing while your GF's not at home?
Maybe I am, maybe I'm not. This will be something that I'll leave up to interpretation, but maybe just a little bit. I will be the church.
Sorry, what? You'll be Birch? I will be... No, fuck it, just leave.
You're leaving me in the lurch? Look, just piss off already, will you?
I love how Trevor walks in and says, sorry, you're all going to be killed. Sorry about that. I tried my best.
Look, they gave me a really sweet deal. It's nothing personal.
What's going to happen then if they're torn to pieces and then they get attacked again? Who's he going to blame next time?
Probably the drunks.
First it was the speakers, and I did not speak for them because they speak for themselves, obviously. Then it was the drunks, and I could not speak for them because they were drunk.
They could barely speak anyway.
But I'm paraphrasing, obviously, a thing that described how the Jews were taken away during the Holocaust. That was a joke. There is an instance of it being used properly, and that was in Ken Pender's run of Sonic the Comic.
The less said about that, the better.
No, I'm going to read it out.
Oh god, do you really have to? I mean, we're watching Castlevania here. I mean, there's plenty of other shit to talk about.
Robotropolis, 3228. During Robotnik's takeover through robotization, the SWAT box came for the foxes, and I did not speak up because I was not a fox. Then they came for the rabbits, and I did not speak up because I was not a rabbit. Then they came for the squirrels, but I did not speak up because I was not a squirrel. Then they came for the hedgehogs, and I did not speak up because I wasn't a kinder. Then they came for me, and by that time nobody was left to speak up. Anonymous.
Anyway, getting back to Castlevania.
Yes.
The elder speaker is having a little bit of trouble thinking what exactly to do here, and I think he has the idea of sort of sacrificing himself, but there is a slight problem with that in that they want all the speakers dead, not just the one.
Yeah.
Once they get set in their ways, these religious sorts are very, very difficult to budge. And I mean religious sorts in the sense of the over-exaggerated types within fiction, obviously.
You're referring to zealots, folk.
Exactly. I was looking for the word, I could not find it, but as usual, Tom the Walking Encyclopedia saves the day from my terrible English skills.
Well, you see, I have the voice of God in my head at all times, and he tells me the words.
You also have the sound of God up your ass.
Well, what are you doing there? Get out of there. Yeah, that means you big poopy head. Look at you. I know you're looking at me.
And he looks at him, and she looks at me.
And I'm looking at her, and then I whip him.
And then stab that guy, and then I walk out the door.
Oh, this bit's fucking lit, mate. You don't remember, do you?
Oh no, I remember. I'm just giving it the quiet it deserves, just to sort of build it up. No one creeps like Gaston, rapes the demons like Gaston.
I don't want to get sued by Disney. Instrumental only.
I'd sing more, but I don't want to be sued by Disney.
Oh,
what a guy. Redacted.
Oh, what a guy. That Belmont.
Hey, there we go. We are lyrical geniuses.
Hello, speakers. Come out. Who is it? Angry mob. No, sorry. What? Hired goons.
No, that ain't right either. What are we? We're Jehovah's Witnesses. Well, I'm definitely not letting you in then.
No, Jehovah's Assassins. Here we go. Just kick the fucker down.
I love how he then puts down the axe just to put his boot through the door. That's kind of epic. So I don't need this. I got me mighty boot.
Alright, let the priest take it from here.
I love that.
I fucking hate you with your goddamn vestments and your little robes and whatnot. Doesn't even have a touch of fur on it, and also you're a really bad person killing innocents. That's the thing I hate the most.
Oh, that bitch slap was so disrespectful. It's like, I dare you to do that again, and see if you keep your hand afterwards.
And it just keeps happening.
It's just like, damn it, I wasn't ready that time! Stop slapping me!
Basically, yeah.
Or in layman's terms, you killed Dracula's wife and now he's taking revenge on you.
Yeah. Like, could you not put two and two together, or are you just being, like, willingly stupid?
I'm waiting for Father Matt Pat to come along. He's just like, hey guys, welcome to Myth Theory!
Didn't he give the Pope Undertale?
It's like, this is all the work of Sans, I tells you.
Oh shit, the I am who I am speech.
The pride of a Belmont. There is indeed no stronger force in the universe. Well, except maybe the Crusadegrim. That shit's just OP. There's no competing with that. Oh, I love the coat so much.
Well, since you're happy with that, I'm just gonna keep stabbing you, and then slapping you, and then we'll alternate until you're dead.
You know, you think they'd maybe think about getting a variety of weapons rather than coming at them with, like, these short swords that were made literally just out of a foot of steel.
Basically, yeah, but we've already seen a sub-weapon so far. We've got the throwing knives. What else does Trevor have in his arsenal? Let's see. We got the whip. I'll be taking that, thank you very much.
Stealing the axe. Throw that bitch! Yeah, boy!
I love the axe, because with Castlevania's, like, limited controls, you definitely need something that can attack above you a lot of the time, because usually the vampire killer can handle horizontally.
Exactly. I mean, Super Castlevania 4 did change the mold a little bit by being the first game to have the multi-directional whipping, but yeah, certainly in the very early Castlevania games, the axe was, like, probably the most valuable sub-weapon in the game, except for maybe the cross in select situations. They got the bow and arrows now. Wish you still had that axe, eh? Alright, what's it gonna do about this? Holy water? Holy cross?
Holy machine gun.
Nah, I mean, they have electricity. I don't think they have the gun yet. At least not in the point that we are considering. Human shield! Oh, the other eye as well!
There's very simple choreography in this, but I really like just how everything's staged and whatnot.
Oh, that's hard luck right there. Literally speared from a distance, and then your mate shoots you from behind in his final dying breath. It's like, what's your final words to me, dear brother? It just shoots him, just like, motherfucker.
Oh, trouble's coming. Daddy's home.
Oh, this does not bode well for the not-so-quiet town. But unfortunately, we'll have to wait for the rest in the last episode.
Indeed, so close down the video, guys, and while we get set up for the finale, what do you think of episode 3 of Castlevania, mate?
From what I remember, there's not a huge amount of action in comparison, but I think I was misremembering what action they had between part 3 and 4. It seems like the majority of the shit is going to go down in this final episode, from what I remember, so this is going to be one to look forward to, I'll just say that much. But the third episode, pretty damn solid. Not really much to complain about.
I would say that's either my second or third favourite. Obviously, we've only got 4 episodes to choose from here, but that's definitely a super solid one. I love all the action with the speakers. Obviously, we met Cipher, more of which in this episode, by the way. And yeah, it's just a really enjoyable episode. So yeah, let's finish this shit off with episode 4, Monument. Here we go. In 3, 2, 1. Oh, this has been a lot of fun, Volk. Thank you for agreeing to binge this with me for the good people on YouTube.
Oh, no trouble at all. Like I said, I was looking for an excuse. So now, this is probably going to be, well, as you may have guessed, we still haven't been properly introduced to Alucard yet, so it'll be safe to assume we'll have some gallivanting with him. But what capacity, I won't say right now, because that will spoil something to come.
You may have already spoiled it anyway. This is the thing I tell Richie all the time, you're not very good at subtlety. I think you're a bit better, though, in that instance.
Well, I only told him that Alucard was going to be around. I didn't say to what capacity. Oh, he's got a case of the evils! Either that or he just fell asleep again. But who is it at the door? Mummy?
Oh dear. God, is that you?
I love how he mistook him for Belmont at first. It's like, dude, you may need to get your eyes checked.
Oh, I'm sorry, my eyes are as tiny as my voice.
Well, to be fair, from the hair, you could probably mistake him. Well, I bet he's reflecting on all the poor life choices he's made now.
I wasn't sure if this monster, the main one here who actually talks, was a character in the Castlevania series. I looked it up and I couldn't find anything.
Well, it's pre-useless ass werewolf, or maybe it's like a Fenrir or something.
Not this one, sorry, we killed him on the way in.
Yeah, sorry, we declared your church an exclusion zone. You're not getting any more help from us. You're on your own, buddy.
Oh, crap baskets.
Oh, sick burn.
God himself sent me an email saying my work is rad. No, sorry, that was a typo. He meant it was bad. Yeah, she was, what's the word I'm looking for here? A scientist? Yeah. She did magic, yes, but only in the sense of what humans can understand.
Exactly. It is science of the land.
Oh, I haven't Frenched someone in a while. That's good human.
Oh, I appear to have kissed off your entire face. Apologies for that. It's been a while since I've had a bird.
Jesus help me, no, Jesus ain't getting involved in this one.
Jesus is just there thinking to himself, glad that ain't me.
Peter, don't help him, he needs to learn a lesson.
And he just gets up to heaven and is just like, so what have we learned? Don't burn the witches.
Don't prosecute the speakers, go on, get out of here, you scamp, I'll resurrect you.
Boys will be boys.
I thought he was going to turn into the Dark Priest Shaft, honestly.
Nah, Shaft is an entirely different being as far as I'm concerned, although it would have been a nice twist, although maybe he gets resurrected and becomes the Dark Priest Shaft.
Yeah, I haven't read or, watched any of the media involving Season 2 of Castlevania, so I know Trevor's in it, that's all I know right now.
We know Trevor, Cipher, and Alucard are going to be there and they're going to be doing the awesome shit together, but we don't know much beyond that. What is this? Witchcraft? Wizardry? Alchemy?
We call them speaker spells. No. Speaker. Oh, okay. Sorry, I had a copy of the script. I should be reading off that. Oh, that's so bad! That's so bad even! Why did I say bad?
Everyone knows that the sign of metal freezes enemies in their tracks.
Oh, yes. Trevor's seen all this shit before. He's just happy. Yeah, because you're the only one who knows how to do all this stuff and whatnot. And obviously in the games, Cipher could use magic by picking up books and whatnot, and she could honestly destroy the game if you used her right.
Oh yeah, the magic casting types in Castlevania games tend to do very, very well.
Come on then, pussy. Let's see if your god is here in this ring of fire. Let's go, Johnny Cash.
Come have a go if you think you're hard enough. Grey shit, I like it.
He is a blight. I don't like that.
He dissed our town!
Oh, stab him! Ooh, we don't like that. We may have been part of the mob, but we don't like beating an old man for no reason.
Hey, we don't take kindly to the beating up of the elderly here. Well, calm down, Skeeter. He ain't hurting anybody. Well, except the elderly.
Spitting straight truth. Fire from his words. The Belmont spirit is inflamed within his body again. God, I feel so alive!
Oh, he is receiving all the flack right now. Oh!
That went better than expected.
That guy was just begging for a reason to go in and stab someone. He was like, I'm first in line, bitch!
I suppose Trevor is fine with this, because it is just street justice, really. Like, there's no police around here.
Exactly. I mean, at the end of the day, they put him in the shit. I mean, it's up to them to show them how they receive having their town being put through the shit. And, as it turns out, not very kindly. You get a pitchfork to the face.
I like the idea that Trevor used to, like, head up a group of vampire killers and whatnot, or at least has some sort of, like, formal military training.
Also giving a chance for the priests to, repent somewhat by actively putting themselves on the line.
Go get me some holy water. Not the cheap kind. We need the proper stuff.
Yeah, we need the grade A shit right here. Make sure we get overnight shipping.
Alright, let me go get some YouTubers. Here we go. Consecrated YouTubers.
We have put the entire Smash community in these buckets.
When they all form together, they will become one of the top Smash Ultimate players.
You could just imagine, we've run out of salt, we need more! Minecraft Steve's been confirmed for Smash! And just suddenly a mountain of salt rains down from the sky.
God damn. Freezonate! We can still fly up, you know. Ah, Jesus, it's salt! Salty water!
Holy salty water! He's being very precise about this. This guy knows what he's doing.
Yeah, I like that there's like a little bit of time to get into the particulars here. Like proper defending of a town and whatnot.
That's the thing. With a solid general at the helm, even the most lowly peasant can be turned into a hardy warrior.
Well, I mean, just in terms of a story reason, it shows that Trevor has a lot of experience without actually showing that he has experience, you know?
Well, that's just the benefit of being a, well, either a third or a fourth generation. I'm not sure what generation Belmont he's actually meant to be. But considering he's, like, whatever in line, he must have attained a lot of accumulated knowledge from Belmont's past. And obviously that's going to rub off on him. So even if perhaps he's not, like, the oldest and most experienced physically,
yeah,
he has all that previous knowledge to tap into.
Oh, jeez.
Oh, that's got it, Hoyt. Just like, yeah, fuck off, you ain't nothing.
Jesus Christ.
That was some Sentai level dying there. Oh no, you flicked me! Kablamo!
Well, I guess we're going to be seeing the Sleeping Soldier sooner rather than later. Bye!
I always had fun just imagining like what would happen if a Power Ranger ever stubbed their toe. It's just the whole building explodes.
I don't think she had wind powers in the game. I think it was like fire, ice, and lightning.
Yeah, usually those are the big three, although wind tends to be touched up upon occasionally. I mean, I suppose in Symphony of the Night she could summon blizzards, or at least the fake version of herself can. And in order to have a blizzard, you have to have some mastery of wind.
Yeah. Now we obviously have the clock tower level.
I kind of wish they had the Symphony of the Night track playing for this. It's like...
Well, I think they're going to save that for Season 2, at the very least, because now it's It's sort of like mid Castlevania 3. Like, even at the end, Castlevania 3 as a whole won't be completed story-wise.
Oh yeah, absolutely, and I imagine it probably won't be at the end of Season 2, or maybe they'll look to segue it, perhaps. But either way, I would love to hear me some Tragic Prince. I'm so glad they got that in for Smash.
Yeah.
Like, easily my favourite Symphony of the Night track, apart from the boss theme, which is metal as hell.
I'm an easygoing guy. You just give me a bit of Bloody Tears. You give me a bit of Divine Bloodlines. I'm good to go. I'm sound as a pan.
Well, as we established in the second episode, Trevor Belmont is a master at The Floor is Lava.
Oh, yes.
So, he's very good when it comes to the whole balance thing.
Right, just slide down, Cipher. I can't hold this forever.
It's like, come on, like, seriously, I gotta take a leak.
Alright, my turn, I suppose. Whee!
It's like, this should be fun, but it just isn't the same.
Oh, Jesus. Trevor is my spirit animal.
It's just like, this is what you get for hiring contractors.
Don't forget, this isn't modern day. It took someone probably months, if not years, to put all this together. Unless it was done by magic, which is seeming more and more likely.
You know, somewhere out there, Nathan Drake is salivating at the QuickTime events he could probably get from this entire sequence.
Indeed. Oh, I can't believe they're dead. Oh, they're fine.
The rocks cushion their fall.
No, I think the plot cushioned their fall, though.
They're not wearing plot armor, come on. Those are barely plot clothes.
I guess. Oh, look. Evil wizard magic tree. That's making all the bulbs light up. Wait, what's a bulb? I don't know, Cipher. I just don't know.
It's like, what is this moon speak? I love it.
So if this is the cat from Sesame Street, I'm done.
Don't worry, we've both watched this before. We know what's going on.
Oh, Sephiroth, what do you want?
It's Swishgar Squigelf from Death Clock. Trevor, you is Am's dildos.
You've been a very naughty boy, but now we need your help.
Look, I know the song is Cash Money, but I do not look a bit like Jesus.
Yes, that's what we've seen, actually. Everyone's dying.
If you squint really hard, you can see the wire.
Mm-hmm. Fucking hell, Vogue, don't take me out of it.
At times he sounds a lot like Liam O'Brien, and it's great.
Ooh, very nice. Perfect voice for Alucard, I think.
Hard agree. Oh, he's begging for a scrap.
Do you have to float there? Do your pants need to be that low upon your pelvis?
I know, he hasn't quite reached the degree where it's literally down to his goddamn ankles, so you may as well be dragging him around behind him, like I know some people in this society tend to do.
Well, you can try. Siffa, please, this is just between me and him. Yeah, it's been pretty well maintained, honestly. And like, there's blood tanks at the back. Almost like he was staying here to heal or something.
He's channeling his inner phoenix right here.
Yep, came here when he was attacked by his father to heal, and it's obviously been a year.
I don't know, maybe he was just really, really fed up with people interrupting him while he was trying to have a kip and went to extremes.
Yeah, yes, you really gotta fight hard for a nap once you reach a certain age, I gotta say.
You gotta fight for your right to go the fuck to sleep.
Oh, this is so fucking cool.
Oh, look at that. That is a Sephiroth-length blade right there. Vampire Jesus. Oh, the impact on that. Whew.
Oh, this is such a fucking cool fight, even if it doesn't last that long.
Maybe it's the fact it doesn't last that long that makes it work so well.
Yeah, it's like an explosion of just rage, really.
Well, I mean, to be fair, he could just be a run-of-the-mill vampire, like, no one that impressive. You may be overselling someone that doesn't deserve it.
Well, he's got... Oh, that's fucking cool.
I love that.
Just the whip work in general has been something I've always been fascinated by. You ever tried to use a whip? It's fucking hard.
I have tried once or twice. It really isn't as easy as he makes it look.
It's okay, I got a sword as well, but I'm a master swordsman, so yeah, as you would say, stone the fuck up.
I love the fact that they get him to use a sword in this as well. It's not just about the whip, it's about his combat prowess in general.
Yeah, he did the backstep thing, by the way. That's great.
I love the teleporty stuff as well.
How do you feel about, like, allies before their allies having to, like, hash things out for a fight and whatnot?
Well, to be fair, I like it here just because they don't know what Dracula looks like. He could well be Dracula. Hold on, epic scene incoming. I absolutely love that line. But yeah, I mean, in terms of this context, I think it works really well. Sometimes it feels a little phoned in with other media, but here it just works.
Yeah.
Just because there's a mystery surrounding Dracula, nobody knows what he looks like, yet alone what a vampire might look like. So, it works here.
I'm a vampire, am I? Well, I'm gonna finish off the old vampire way.
It's always about the duds. It's not about get good, it's about look good.
Yeah, didn't you hear my speech earlier? Alright, you were asleep.
Oh, you've got a lot to learn about me, laddie.
Also, it might incinerate Trevor, but, you know, you gotta lose to win sometimes.
It's all about acceptable losses.
Test over, you both passed. Trevor barely, but Cipher, A+.
Trevor, you get minus points for being a bit of a dick. Oh, he is so bishy right now. Like, holy fuck.
He looks like he stepped right off the cover of Symphony of the Night, and I love it.
It really does. It's so good. And it's why I quite like Season 2 from what they showed as well, because they have him in that classic kind of black coat with the gold accents on it. It looks so much like Alucard from Symphony of the Night, and I love it dearly, and it just makes me want Season 2 that bit more. But when it goes live, I'll be in London, so I won't be able to watch it.
I'll watch it with you when you get back, mate.
I would very much appreciate that.
Hell yeah, there's that lovely fucking cloak.
Oh, absolutely mint.
I didn't have to do this, I'm just showing off. But yeah, we talked about like the plot, the characters, and just the action so much. We didn't really pay attention to like the character designs and just like the art style in general. Like, some of the art may slip in parts. You know, obviously more care is paid to certain scenes than others. That's just animation. You work with what you have. But I would say character design is completely on point. They totally translated these characters into their own style while still keeping it faithful.
Absolutely agreed. But yeah, the designs, there's not much to say other than they kick absolute ass. And Alucard looking like he is absolutely ready for a night on the town.
Oh yeah, but only the night, because he can't go out through the day. Alright, let's close that down. That was Season 1 of Netflix's Castlevania. Volk, Episode 4 and overall, mate.
Well, it has Alucard in there, which is already a huge bonus as far as I'm concerned. But the action sequences in the fight... so good.
Yeah.
And obviously just the whole Trevor rallying the townspeople and getting the vicars and what have you involved, as well as sort of a, yeah, you know what, you don't have to die, just actually do something helpful for once.
Yeah.
It was a very jam-packed episode, and definitely stands to be probably the strongest from a visual standpoint, I guess. I still say the first episode wins out from a lore standing, however.
Yeah. I would say there's a few issues, like, I don't know, pacing. Like, Episode 2, I think, is a bit of a sore spot for a lot of people. And I wouldn't say it's, like, perfect overall, but I feel like let's call this the prologue to the show as a whole. I think Season 2, with all the good that Season 1 garnered, I think they're definitely looking to the second season with what didn't work in mind, trying to fix that and build upon what did work. So I'm very hopeful that Season 2 will blow me out of the water, so to speak. Don't ask me why I was in there. I just wanted to soak in the Castlevania goodness.
Very nice. Although, on the subject of the pacing, it does make me wonder, if they did go the route of making this whole one continuous thing, would you still notice the drop-off with Episode 2, necessarily? Because obviously Episode 2, we're treating it as its own individual entity here, but if you combined it with everything else that was going on, I'd be almost tempted to say that it was probably acceptable, really. Like, you wouldn't really notice that there was, like, an obvious fall-off. You'd just think it was, oh, they had a lot of action in this previous part, now there's a little bit of world-building and kind of figure out who all the major players are. Whereas, as a separate episode, obviously it's just that. You're not thinking of it really as something that just came after the whole spiel with Dracula, and obviously what will come after that particular episode.
Yeah, I would agree, but I have to judge it on what it is, and
exactly.
What it is, I think, is a very solid and at times exciting show, and I'm looking forward to Season 2. I hope you guys have enjoyed our coverage of Season 1. Who knows, maybe we'll do Season 2 next year for Halloween, but right now we have more Halloween stuff to come, so stay tuned to the HFC channel. Bye bye for now.
See you later.